人的话，而且还骂主持人的情况。Channel 4英国非常著名的电视公司，他们的调查团队取得了2016年川普竞选团队手中交出来的秘密文件，在英国正式的公布。它是使用了大数据，然后大数据它可能是跟某一些公司购买，然后购买了以后呢，他拿到了这些资料，然后他就找出对他不利的选民，这里头包括了 Hispanic 的后代，那么 Hispanic 选民，或是说西裔的选民，或是非裔的选民，然后接着呢，对他们投放希拉蕊是一个很不好的人，是一个欺骗者，是一个怎么样的负面广告。所以这些人虽然没有投了川普，他们也就没有出来投票给希拉蕊。请看一下 Channel 4所做出来的调查报道。
It's possible that it influenced somebody, but it doesn't influence me. Like
you feel confident it wouldn't have done?
No, I'm almost like 100. I'm 100% sure.
Can you really be 100% sure that advertising doesn't influence you? I mean, we all say that, don't we?
We all.
每个人都认为自己是个有独立思考的理性选民，但在掌握大数据的有心人面前，你只是一个可以被操纵的棋子。
All of your interactions, your credit card swipes, web searches, locations, likes, they're all collected in real time into a $1 trillion a year industry.
距离美国大选只剩不到40天，英国 Channel 4团队取得一份2016年川普竞选团队手中的秘密文件，告诉你川普阵营如何利用大数据打消非裔选民出来投票的意愿，这让川普得以在2016年以些微差距拿下关键摇摆州。
They're rioters, they're looters, they're bad people.
Donald Trump has long been accused of ignoring the voices of millions of black Americans. Now we can reveal how he has actively tried to silence them. 4 years ago, tens of thousands of normally Democratic-supporting black voters just didn't turn out for Hillary Clinton. And now we can reveal for the first time that many of them had been identified and targeted by the Trump campaign and its supporters. Their aim? Not to win their votes, it seems, but to get them to stay at home on election day. For millions and millions of voters, highly personal information was bought, harvested and used, all perfectly legal under America's data laws. They knew whether you're likely to own a dog or a gun, whether you're likely to get married or planning a baby. There was even a score for personality type. A colossal data set of more than 5,000 tables with nearly 5 terabytes of information. But it's not just what they knew about individual people, it's what they did with all the data. In 16 key battleground states, the algorithm placed voters into one of 8 categories. Most likely to turn out was the base. Core Trump on his side, core Clinton on hers. Those least likely to vote were marked as deadbeats and then disengaged for both sides. In the middle were the voters who might go either way and were open to persuasion. But also crucial were these 2 segments. On his side, they were called GOTV, Get Out the Vote, and on the other, Deterrence, voters who might be encouraged not to vote. Many were dark posts, which could appear on people's Facebook feeds and then vanish. What we found is that in those crucial swing states, black voters were disproportionately categorized for deterrence. In Georgia, they made up 32% of the population, but 61% of deterrence. In Michigan, 15% of people, but 33% of deterrence. In total, more than 3.5 million black voters were marked for deterrence. If you include other ethnic minorities, they made up 54% of the deterrence segment.
也就是在这些待妨碍非裔选民的脸书上，会出现类似这样的广告。
They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy.
事实上，这段话出自希拉蕊督促美国政府必须强硬对付黑帮的发言，却被断章取义，变成了希拉蕊说非裔年轻人都是超级恶棍。
We discovered the campaign spent $55,000 targeting the message at black voters in the state of Georgia alone. What we know is the Trump campaign spent $44 million on Facebook and pumped out almost 6 million different ads. The company claims it does everything it can to stop misinformation and voter suppression online. but they have chosen to keep the ads used in the 2016 campaign secret.
这样的广告战术有效果吗？
CNN now projects that Donald Trump will carry the state of Wisconsin. He will win Wisconsin with its 10 electoral votes.
2016年最终投票结果显示，当川普以22748张选票赢得威斯康星州时，单单密尔瓦基市的投票率就比2012年低了3%，也就是少了4万张选票。
Milwaukee, with its big black population, has always been a Democratic stronghold.
Yeah, about 70% of blacks who live in the state of Wisconsin live in the city of Milwaukee.
Reggie Jackson grew up in the city.
The Democratic Party in particular takes for granted that black people are going to vote on the Democratic ticket every time, right? One of the things that Hillary Clinton did, a big mistake she made, I think, in 2016, she campaigned in Wisconsin in April and never came back the rest of the year, right? And so a lot of people were very upset by that.
希拉蕊也因此尝到苦果。
On Election Day 2016, something unusual happened. Turnout among black voters in Wisconsin collapsed by 19%.
They didn't come out to vote for Hillary. They didn't come out.
可怕的是，这些非裔选民直到4年后的现在，还不知道自己是被蓄意操弄而失去投票意愿的一群人。Channel 4记者拿着自川普阵营取得的文件，找到了这些在2016年被列为带妨碍非裔选民的本尊。
One of them was Annette Clinton. So this is what the file said about you. So that's you, isn't it, Annette Clinton?
Yes, that's me.
That's your address?
That's correct.
You said your income at the time in 2016 was between $25,000 and $35,000.
That's correct.
That's correct. And that you were a renter.
Yes, that's correct too.
So they had you down pretty well.
So far?
How do you feel about the idea that the Trump campaign categorized you and lots of other people as deterrents?
I don't feel right by that at all, because they shouldn't have to categorize no one in order to get votes. You know, it shouldn't be like that they would use you and categorize you to make it harder for you to vote.
Does knowing this change anything about how you feel about the last election?
It makes me want to go out and vote more, actually.
Cambridge Analytica can help you run more cost-effective...
This machine was built, in part, by a team from the now notorious company Cambridge Analytica, working hand in glove with a team from the Republican National Committee.
Channel 4曾对剑桥分析进行卧底调查，揭露一个惊悚的真相，就是想要左右一场选举，无需控制多数人，只需掌握关键少数即可。
Kansas, Louisiana, Texas.
He won by 40,000 votes in 3 states. Yeah, the margins were tiny.
We showed our findings to Jamal Watkins, Vice President of the NAACP.
The thing that's shocking / troubling about this, is that there's this category of suppression, that deterrence part. So we use data, similar voter file data, but it's to motivate, persuade, encourage folks to participate. We don't actually use the data to say who can we deter and keep at home. That just seems fundamentally, it's a shift from the notion of democracy. It's actually undermining inclusion and participation. It's not may the best candidate win at that point, it's may the best well-funded machine suppress voters and keep them at home, thereby rigging the election so that someone can win.
What happened in 2016, of course, was not restricted to Milwaukee. We found the same in black neighborhoods from Miami to Atlanta, from Richmond to Cleveland. America's reckoning of Donald Trump will come in just a few weeks' time. In Milwaukee, campaigners are pouring their efforts into getting black people to register to vote, determined that the very people the Trump campaign tried to deter from voting last time will make their voices heard in 2020.
Said, I need you, chief.